Okay, YouTube, here we are. This is the much anticipated fajita fajita recipe or video, whatever you want to call it. So this is gonna be a long one, so I mean, some people probably won't watch it because it's gonna be too long, but I'll try not to talk so much. I know I blab a lot, but anyways, I wanted to show you a couple things. How to make like a fajita seasoning that you can use, well, obviously on fajitas, but you could put it on anything. Ground beef, you make tacos. Even if you're cooking a steak, like a nice sirloin or a ribeye or something, and you put this seasoning on both sides, cook it on the grill, slice it thin, you get that, what they call that, carne asada style. You can make a little fajita or something out of that. I mean, it's a nice seasoning to have around. Now, can you get it in the store already made? Sure you can. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that. But making it yourself, you can kind of adjust the heat. You can adjust the different seasonings you like. And so anyways, I'm going to make, so what I do is, this is a garlic powder container that's just about kicked. I'd say there's about a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. So, and there's garlic powder in the recipe, so I'll leave that. But I'm going to put all the ingredients in there, shake it up, and then I got it in this. If I'm going to make something else, I got it, I sprinkle it on whatever I'm making. So anyways, let's get started. Now, I looked at a few different recipes. I've made this myself, just throwing things in, and it always comes out okay. But I said, let me look at some recipes and see if if there's something else I could be doing. So I kind of just, I didn't go exact. I took some pointers, and I am not going to use exact measurements here. We're going to do, this is, I don't know, probably a tablespoon. I'll consider half of that a teaspoon, and we'll go from there. But the recipes that I saw, one of them called for a little cornstarch. I don't have any. I went shopping today, and I was going to get some and forgot. Or not that I forgot, they didn't have any. I'm going to use flour. Flour is going to do the same thing that cornstarch would. Just a little bit. Now, what's people saying? What the hell are you putting that for? That's going to add any little juices that form when you're cooking. That'll that'll turn it into a little bit of a sauce. Also, it helps, like it'll coat the meat. You'll see how we make them. But so a little flour won't hurt. Cornstarch, if you have it, I'm sure would be just fine. But like I said, I couldn't get it, so I am doing flour. Let me put that away. So you see, I just put I don't know, there'd probably be a couple tablespoons. This, by rights, the recipe I looked at said I probably should have did 3 or 4, but I don't want too much flour. I want mostly seasoning in there. So chili powder is the next. Again, I got Chinatri's hot chili powder. That's really, really good stuff. So it's got 6 teaspoons. So we'll do 3 of these spoons. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Three teaspoons of salt. I'll probably just do like one of these heaping. It's probably 3. We'll do a little more for good measure. There you go. Okay. I mean, this isn't rocket science. You do whatever you want. Paprika, 3 teaspoons. Again, I'll probably just do heaping spoon of that. Paprika would be good for giving it a lot of color. Sugar. Sugar is going to give you another little crust and add that, salty and sweet component, which everybody loves. I want 3 teaspoons of that. Put that and then a little more. I don't use a lot of sugar in cooking, but I think in this I agree. I think it'll be worthwhile. Onion powder. Wants 2 teaspoons of that. Do just a little extra. Onion powder I love. Same with the garlic, 2 teaspoons of garlic. It's a little too big, so we'll just pour. Remember, we already got garlic in there in the bottom too. So that'll be, we'll call it on that because there's garlic in the bottom. Cayenne. Geez, I hope I didn't use the... I don't remember now if I did the paprika or the cayenne when I did the paprika. And we'll just add a little bit of cayenne. It doesn't call for much cayenne at all. Can I see the color? Let's see. It's pretty well. I'll add a little more. Remember, the chili powder is hot too, so... Nah, I probably did the paprika. Alright, and then cumin. Cumin, a couple teaspoons of that. I just put a little. I like cumin, but you don't want to go too crazy with it. It's a strong seasoning. So I mean, there you go. It filled it about half, 3/4 full of the garlic powder. Screw your top back on, give it a shake. Do it to the music. Let's see how she looks. I mean, there you go. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you'll see it better when I put it on the food. You know, fajita seasoning, taco seasoning. You put that. That's a pretty generic mix of spices. You put it on anything, it'll be delicious. So let me put all these spices away. Give myself some room here. So this was requested by Corey for fajitas. Next video up, I got a request from my buddy Frankie to do a sausage and pepper sandwich, sort of like a with melted mozzarella, like a hot sausage and pepper sandwich. You know, anybody could make a sausage patty and put it on a hamburger bun, but we'll kind of soup it up a little. So that'll probably be the next planned video. I'm not saying I won't do another off the shoot random video at 2 in the morning when I'm done drinking Bud Lights for the night, but a planned video like this we'll do the sausage and peppers next. That'll be good. Okay, so we made the seasoning. Oh look, I put the seasoning away. Can you believe it? Is this it right here? Yeah, that's it. So I should label it too, because it says garlic powder. Somebody else comes in here to go cook and they put that in there. Oh, money. Okay. So fajitas, you could put any vegetables you want. The basic is peppers, onions, usually some tomatoes. I don't have fresh tomatoes, and even if I did, I don't know that I'd use them. But what I'm going to do is, I got some stewed tomatoes from dinner the other day. And I'm gonna, excuse me. God bless you. Wash my hands here. Breathing in all those spices, man, get you sneezing. Okay. Whew. So anyways, here's the tomatoes I got. I'm gonna, where's my tongs? You know, you don't need a lot, but I got them. I may as well use them. There, that's perfect. So, you know, if you had a few more, of course you could throw them in, but I'm not going to open up another can just to have a couple more, and because, well, there's going to be tomatoes when you make the fajita itself, as like the wrap or whatever you want to call it. You put these diced tomatoes with green chilies on top, you know, so you don't need too many tomatoes in the mix either. So let's see, we're going to cut our peppers up. I'll show you how I do those. And what I'm doing is I'm putting everything in this little bowl. I'll show you why. So to cut a pepper, I just take the sides off. And then this last part, just cut the stem off. Take the vein out. I think I'll probably end up with 1.5 peppers. Maybe I'll do the whole 2, I don't know. So fajitas you want, you can, I mean, I like it the way, every way I've had it at restaurants and stuff. You know, they do kind of these strips. And I'm just throwing them right in my bowl. Again, strips. You could do it cubed if you want, but you know, I think it'd be hard to sort of manage. I've never seen them cubed in a fajita, but if you don't like strips of onions, do a cube. I don't care what you do. Let's see, I think I'll do the full 2, or that's not many right there. So again, very simple. Just cut 3 ways around. 1 cut to rip the stem out. Take your veins out. You don't have to, by the way. You could leave these. They're tasteless. They have a little bit of a bitter taste, but in something like this, you would never notice it. But I clean them up a little if, you know, if I don't go too nuts, but yeah, you know, cut the veins out if you want. Make sure you're washing your produce. I mean, you should be doing that all the time anyway, but especially with this coronavirus nonsense. Kind of like can never be too careful, you know. Now, when you do a fajita, you know, these will obviously will cook them down nice, but your vegetables, you kind of want to have still a little snap to them. You don't want them cooked down to nothing, so that's why we cook everything at once. I think I'll show you. I got myself some Vidalias today. They had them at Aldi's. I ran over to Aldi's. I love Aldi's. So close to my house is the main reason. Prices are great. And, I mean, look at that onion. Quality, no bruises, no nothing. Get onions and stuff other places, produce, it's all shingat and I'm just throwing all my garbage over here. You know what? Let me get a garbage bowl. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning this cooking show stuff. Trying. A lot of pressure here, you know. A lot of pressure here on Floyd Street. Very serious stuff down here. So I got the Vidalia, the big one, and then I got one of these small onions you guys have heard me talk about a million times. I'm finally getting to the bottom of the bin on these things. I like, you know, they're nice. It's just if you need a lot of onions, you need like 8 onions to make what you could get out of one big one. But they had them on sale at the store last time I was there, and that's why I got them. So, same with this. I'll probably just cut strips, you know. The small onion, they're not going to be very big because it's such a small onion, but that's alright. The Vidalia will get nice. Cut it right in half. You get nice big sort of rings, half rings. This knife I'm using, it's a beautiful prep knife. Made in Japan. I got this at a thrift store for $1. And for cutting vegetables up, or I don't know about meat. I mean, it'll cut meat, don't get me wrong, but for prepping vegetables and stuff, it's really great. So those go right in that bowl. My bowl is filling up. That's alright. All those little chunks of onion, little pieces, sure, throw them right in. Why not? Okay, now the chicken. I got a chicken breast here. I got 2 of them. We'll see how many I think I'll probably use both. Now I'm handling chicken here, so everything after this point is going to have to be washed. But that's why I do it last. How do you want to cut your chicken? you're basically going to want to cut sort of against the grain. And I would even cut it in half. I'll show you what we're after. Careful when you're cutting towards yourself. So you cut it in half. That gets your thickness. And then you're basically just going to cut thin strips like this. Even that's a little too big. But they will cook down a little when you're cooking them. Because you got to figure this is going to be you know, people are making the fajitas. I don't know if you guys obviously all know what fajitas are, but you build them kind of. They bring them out on that sizzling platter, and they give you the shells, and you make them however you want. So I didn't get refried beans today. They usually serve this with refried beans. I like the beans if I go out to a Mexican restaurant and I eat the beans, but I don't love them enough to go, you know, buy them and warm them up and do all that. It doesn't matter to me if they're not in there either, so I didn't bother with that. But if you like the refried beans, by all means. So you kind of see what we're going for here, these little strips. And you go against the grain because that when you go to eat this now, it'll kind of like be real tender. If you went with the grain, probably still be okay, but definitely not as tender. So this will go right in our bowl. The bowl is filling right up. It's alright, we'll be okay. And I got one more chicken breast here.
96.1 The Eagle knows Central New York is adapting to a new way of life with the threat of coronavirus. While the world changes around us, changing our daily routines and schedule, the one thing not changing is the amazing food.
I almost wonder if I'll do half of this one. This is a big one. This is a big mama. Again, be careful when you're cutting towards yourself. I mean, you shouldn't cut towards yourself, but there's certain things that I do that I don't know how else to do it. If you get a big old honking piece of fat like that, you know, cut that off. You don't need that in there. But a little bit of fat's okay. It'll render down. But if it's a big chunk like that, I don't leave it. And same thing. We're just gonna cut thin strips. This knife works alright for me, but it's a little flimsy. I would prefer a chef's knife for doing, you know, breaking chicken down like this or something. But since I already had this knife out, it ain't gonna hurt you. And it's flat, it's perfectly flat, this knife. So even for some vegetables, I don't like that. I like a little to rock back and forth, but I mean, you know, now we're splitting hairs, right? It's a knife, it cuts the meat, it works, that's all you need. So I think I'm gonna call it at 1.5 chicken breasts. I definitely have a piece of chicken fell down there. Throw that out. I think I definitely have enough there. I mean, I'm only cooking for myself anyway, so. And then this piece here I'll use and I'll make something out of that. You can cut that into little tenders and fry them up with some dipping sauces, or it won't go to waste, trust me. Alright, so clean this all up. Wash your hands, very important. Keep your hands washed.
Okay? And should you choose a select luxury bed, like the number bed by Instant Comfort, you'll not only get 5 years, no interest, no money down if you qualify, but I'll cover the first 3 for each. You'll also get a free adjustable base for King or Queen, and you'll get this pick from a gift from Express Rewards. Look at that on MattressExpressNY.com. It's crazy. You get everything from canoes to mountain bikes to fire pits to patio furniture. It's nuts. Take a look. It's the greatest thing. We'll be back at it very soon. If you have any questions while you're shopping, call 1-800-NEW-BED. The calls will be forwarding to a few select employees.
So,
Answer questions, walk you through it, or take
geez, how long are we at now?
We're gonna make it through this.
Already 20 minutes. Not bad though. I mean, because this next part was quick. So, earlier I made some potato croquettes. I think I'm saying it right. My buddy Tom Fiorentino gave me an idea. I had some leftover mashed potatoes. So this oil is pretty fresh, it's pretty clean. There's a little bit of potato grit in there, but I'm not worried about that. Fajita's kind of a, you know, everything gets burnt in the bottom and everything anyway, so that's sort of how it goes. There's our bowl. We have our homemade seasoning here. I'm not even going to use the shaker. I'll just sort of, no, you want to be liberal with this.
Our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hardships may
And then,
and we're prepared to help.
with your tongs, again, this is kind of a small bowl, but take your time and we just mix this around in there.
Our home loan experts are available to help 24 hours
Some people would just do
days a week at
the chicken.
rocketmortgage.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License.
Alright, I can't do this. I should have known better. Get the big hoss out. Okay, there we go. So, you know, some people would just put the seasoning on the chicken. And, you know, the vegetables will get it once they're in the pan anyway. But I'm going to put a little more seasoning too. So I got the oil on, I'm getting it hot. Just a little more seasoning. So yeah, mix the vegetables, mix the chicken, all with that seasoning. You know what else I'm going to do? No, I don't think we need it. I was going to put some minced garlic in there too, but we got the garlic powder in the seasoning, so I don't think we need that. Now this is basic, but you could put carrots, celery, mushrooms, any vegetables you like, you go right in there. No problem. But to keep it simple today, I just did a little bit of stewed tomato, the onion, and the pepper, and then the meat. And then the meat, that's your choice too. You could do, like, when I get these out, I get what they call a fajita Sahana. The fajita Tejana is a state. The Tejana means Texas or Texan or something. And they have shrimp, chicken, beef, and sausage, and like the chorizo sausage. But this is it. You know, you throw them in the pan. My pan's probably a little too small, but you know, everything will cook down too. Remember. And pretty much you want to leave your pan on screaming hot. Screaming hot for the, want to get a little color. I'm just kind of getting everything incorporated there, but that stuff will cook now. So leave that on screaming hot. Okay, I got the pan on wide open. So toppings, I do, this is just what I like. I do sour cream. I don't know how to do this without spilling it. You can see it. The diced tomatoes with green chilies. I got a blend of Mexican cheeses. Cheddar, Monterey Jack, Asadero, and Queso Blanco. And lettuce. I just do a little lettuce. Those are my toppings. Again, I would normally also get an avocado and slice that, but they didn't have any decent ones. They were all hard as could be, and that wouldn't be very, very good. So I'm just doing those. Real nice smell coming out. Beautiful. things up a little here. Making a mess. I'm making a mess here. Bigger pan would have been good, or a pan with higher sides. I had this one on the stove, so I figured use that. Again, I got my fire pretty much ripping. It's kind of like a stir fry, not really, but that's sort of the method you want to cook it on. You want to just pretty much as fast as the chicken cooks, you pretty much call it. And like I said, the vegetables, you don't really want them cooked right now anyway. You want them to have just not a lot of crunch, but you want just a little crisp there still. At least I like it that way. By far the best hot sauce to put on a fajita is a Tapatio, salsa picante. This is good hot sauce to put on anything, but especially a fajita. It's just the perfect combination in my opinion. We're getting there. I'll cut the lettuce up a little. Okay. Lettuce, just kind of roll it up. Just nice. And I just have a plain flour tortilla. There's the corn tortillas, which are okay. Then there's the whole wheat and all that. And yeah, maybe those are healthier, but for some reason the plain flour is just the best taste to me. So against my own health advice, I'll just use the plain flour. And I got my cast iron pan here on the other side. You can't see it, it's too far away. No oil in it, no nothing. I got a little, you know, I always season it with oil when I'm done cleaning it. I just put that right on there. And we're not going to toast it or nothing. We're just going to warm it up. And it kind of gives it a little bit of a toasted flavor. But, you know, you don't want to make it hard or anything like that. These are starting to cook up nice. Peppers need just a little longer. And you know, the flour that's in that seasoning, you can kind of see that little bit of sauce that we do got from all the juices it's just a little thick, which is kind of nice. It's just what you want. Kind of the trick here is to stir it up once in a while, but for the most part, leave it on. Don't touch it. Let some caramelization occur on the bottom. You keep moving things around too much, and you won't get that caramelization. How we doing on time? 31 minutes. All right, so I'll start toasting this. Toasting the tortilla shell. Get my sour cream open. Get my cheese open. We're getting there. This is a great thing to make, especially for a family. I mean, making a mess again. All I'm doing is making a mess here. But this is a nice thing. You make a big batch of this and put it in a little bowl on the table with all the toppings laid out, and everybody can make their own, and everybody sit at the table, have a nice meal like we used to back in the day. Perfect. So I just flipped my tortilla over. I just got a little color, not even a lot of, just a touch of color, a little crisp to it, but it's still very soft. So I'll shut the fire off on both of these, and we'll start to build it. And this is what you really could do at the table, but just to show you how, I do it. Put a little cheese down. Take your sour cream. I use a spoon. Make sure you get a little, mix it up. Little dollop of sour cream, kind of off to the side. And the back of the spoon, just spread it out. Little lettuce. Then you got your tomatoes and chilies. Kind of one of the lessons with this is less is more. People have a tendency to try to really load them up, and you get too, it gets too out of control. Just a little bit of tomato and chili. You could also do salsa, but I like just the tomatoes better myself. I don't know why. I love salsa, but on a chip, not on a fajita. And then remember, we got the tomatoes in here too. Those will have a different flavor altogether. And then you just grab a dollop of this stuff. Right on. That's it. I mean, that's all there is to it. And then I do the tapatio. Throw that in. I like a lot. You put as little or as none or whatever you want. You roll that baby up. You cook this exactly how I just showed you. Look at that. Are you kidding me? That'll be the best fajita you ever had in your whole life. Thanks for watching, everybody. I know it's a long one. Shrimp, chicken, steak. Hey, you could even do pork. I haven't seen pork fajitas, but there's no reason you couldn't. Or a combination of all that. Some people throw chorizo in, whatever vegetables you like. Kind of a quick thing. I mean, I know the video is long, but if you think about it, from start to finish, and that's including making the seasoning, 36 minutes, that ain't really that bad. And that's me on camera. If you were just flying by the seat of your pants, you know, doing this, it wouldn't take that long. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe, stay away from everybody. 6 feet. See y'all up at the airport.